Kama unavyoniona sijamaliza juzi. Haya mambo ya kidigitali ni
kubwa sana ya kwanza kuwa watu wa kwanza.
Kama unavyoniona sijamaliza juzi. Haya mambo ya kidigitali ni
kubwa sana ya kwanza kuwa watu wa kwanza.
Kama unavyoniona sijamaliza juzi. Haya mambo ya kidigitali ni
kubwa sana ya kwanza kuwa watu wa kwanza. Naitwa Mbokile Mwakibubu, mhandisi kutoka Protastructure Dar es Salaam. Tulishiriki leo katika session yetu ya siku 5 ya kujifunza
kama unavyoniona sijamaliza juzi. Haya mambo ya kidigitali
sana ya kwa session ambayo tulikuwa msingi ya kwamba ziweze kugusa maeneo yote ya msingi kutoka salama na tutaweza kwanza moja katika session yetu ya control kujifunza na tulipata faida kubwa sana ya kwanza kuwa watu wa kwanza tumesaidiwa kutoka
Kwa jina naitwa Engineer Godfrey Mgwasa. Ni engineer wa muda mrefu, sijamaliza juzi. Haya mambo ya kidigitali ni mambo mapya kidogo kwetu, lakini kusema ukweli na napenda kuwapa pongezi sana Nzinza. Ni program ambayo kwa ufupi ni kwamba ni program nzuri sana, interface zake ni nzuri, ni user friendly, ni rahisi kuitumia. Na jambo kubwa napenda kuzungumzia haswa kwenye program tuliyofanya ni instructor wetu. Napenda kumpa pongezi za kipekee kabisa instructor, na ningefurahi kama hata courses nyingine walete instructors wenye kariba ya instructor tulio naye. Instructor anaeleweka, anaongea kwa utaratibu mzuri, ukimuuliza maswali na kujibu clearly na kwa in detail kabisa. Anaonekana ni instructor ambaye ameiva, anajua anachokifanya. Kama nilivyosema mwenzangu, na washauri maengineer wengine waje watumie hii program. Ni program nzuri sana, inakurahisishia kazi. Asante sana.
Kwa majina naitwa Engineer Bakari Mujarubi. Natokea shirika la wakala wa meli Tanzania TASAC. Ni civil engineer. Nimehudhuria mafunzo ya Protastructure kwa muda wa siku 5. Kwa kweli mafunzo yalikuwa ni mazuri na yameenda vizuri sana, na watu tumeelewa jinsi ya kutumia software kwa ajili ya design. Mimi na encourage maengineer wenzangu kuja kusoma Protastructure kwa sababu inasaidia kwenye design, inarahisisha kazi, unafanya kazi kubwa kwa muda mfupi. Ni software ambayo kwa kweli iko kwenye current situation ya kutumia na ni nzuri sana. Nawakaribisheni mkasome.
working in as a TIPA civil engineer. The training was very, very interesting.
I'm working at the Rwanda Transport Development Agency. I'm in charge of quality control. Compared to the other softwares, Protastructure is very easy.
This is also a good training center.
Before, we were using manual skills by designing and also other softwares like Procode, but this one, Protastructure, it's very interesting software for structure modeling analysis. It is quick regarding the design of structures, first concrete structures, steel structures. It is very quick. It is detailing everything and it can be used by most of the engineers.
I work in a public institution called Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board in its single project implementation unit, SPIU. I was one of the civil engineer attending business training on Protastructure software, and I found it is very fruitful, especially for civil engineers, where we learn more on the design for building structures, and also this is also a good training center, and we recommend to expand this training for both the public and the private engineers to improve the capacity on using softwares, as these softwares help to perform rapidly our work in safe design.
I have attended the training of Protastructure 2025. The training was very, very interesting because by assessing the training, I was able to conduct a model analysis, a model detailing in Protastructure 2025. I was able to conduct the exercise of modeling, loading, and the structure analysis, even detailing, by using both of Prota details and the AutoCAD.
After this training, I will be able now to use the software and even cross-check the sum of the report provided by the external consultant and validate it in a short time, and also cross-checking what have been done.
So the recommendation to my institution or the other agencies or other companies, I can encourage them to
I'm a quantity surveyor from Suma JKT Construction Company. This global enhanced the training and it was so useful. We got the necessary tools to use PlanSweep software. It's a good software to build bills of quantities.
Tokea shirika la nyumba Zanzibar. Nashukuru sana Mzinza Global kwa hii training yenu, na wahamasisha quantity surveyor, mkisikia program kama hii
Kwa majina naitwa Nestor Robert, natokea chuo cha ufundi Arusha. Nimefika hapa Dar es Salaam kwa ajili ya mafunzo ya kuweza kuandaa bills of quantity, yani kwa kifupi watu wengi wamezoea kuita BOQ, lakini kitanguliwa na kitu tunaita take off, kwa maana ya kufanya zile hesabu za kuweza kukotoa kwa kutumia njia ya kidijitali. Sasa tunaweza tukasema softwares ambazo wengine wengi kwa taaluma zingine wanakuwa nazo kurahisisha kazi, basi na sisi PlanSwift ambayo ndio program ambayo ilikuwa imetangazwa na kampuni ambayo ni Mzinza Global, lazima basi sisi ambao tulikuwa tunapata shida kufanya take off au kukokotoa hesabu za shughuli zote za ujenzi kwa maana material base, ili basi tuweze kurahisishiwa hiyo kazi, tulazima tuweze kuja kujifunza.
My name is Christina Dimbo. I'm a quantity surveyor. I came to participate in the training by Nziza Global for Plan Swift Software 11 that enhances the quantity surveyors to take off and build the BOQ more accurately and using less amount of time. Actually, we use a lot of Excels to take off, but the Plan Swift enhances us to make accurate calculations to be able to produce a well-accurated bills of quantity.
Kwa majina naitwa Nazmina Abdalla, nimetokea shirika la nyumba Zanzibar. Nimeshiriki katika training ya Pensi. Training hii imenisaidia vitu vingi, maana mwanzo nilikuwa naifahamu, nilikuwa najifunza kupitia mtandao, ilikuwa ni ngumu sana, lakini kupitia hii training imenirahisishia vitu vingi. Nimeweza kujua vitu vingi, shortcuts nyingi, kutengeneza vitu vingi kupitia hiyo program na kutengeneza vitu vingi kama kurecord template.
Na tunamshukuru sana facilitator ambaye tulikuwa naye, ametupatia ushirikiano wa kutosha. Hatukuwa tumeweza kujua ndani ya siku 4 kama tungeweza kukava sehemu ambayo tumeweza kukava, lakini kupitia facilitator wetu ambaye alikuwa anatoa ushirikiano, tunapomuuliza maswali anatupa ushirikiano na
kati ya session ambazo zilikuwa very informative, kwa misingi ya kwamba ziliweza kugusa maeneo yote ya msingi ya kuweza kumfanya mtu aweze kuanza kuanza modeling mpaka kuandaa michoro na kuweza kutoa report.
Napenda kuwapa pongezi sana Nzinza. Ni programu ambayo kwa ufupi ni kwamba ni programu nzuri sana. Interface zake
I work for the Road Development Agency, which is a road authority in charge of planning, design and maintenance of the road network in our country, Zambia. I'd like to thank Nziza Global for inviting our agency, and I'm honored to have been nominated by our agency to come and participate in this important training.
I work from Narura, Tanzania, Rural and Urban Road Agency. It deals with planning, managing and construction of different roads in Tanzania, rural and urban sections.
This is my second time to attend a training from Nziza Global. I would like to thank Nziza Global for facilitation of this course, where our facilitator have equipped us with knowledge about road design, advanced design of roundabouts, and vehicle tracking, which will assist us in our daily activities.
I'm a quantity surveyor from Suma JKT Construction Company. Nziza Global enhanced the training and it was so useful. We got the necessary tools to use Plan Swift software. It's a good software to build bills of quantities.
Nimetokea shirika la nyumba Zanzibar. Nashukuru sana Nziza Global kwa hii training yenu na wahamasisha quantity surveyor. Ukisikia program kama hii
I work for the Road Development Agency, which is a road authority in charge of planning, design and maintenance of the road network in our country, Zambia. I'd like to thank Nziza Global for inviting our agency, and I'm honored to have been nominated by our agency to come and participate in this important training.
Working as a civil engineer. The training was very, very interesting.
I'm working at the Rwanda Transport Development Agency. I'm in charge of quality control. Compared to the other softwares, Protastructure is very easy.
Nziza is also a good training center.
Hello, engineers. Hello.
Oh, hello?
Hello. Are you getting me? Everyone is getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you. I'm Chancelier. Sela, I'm here.
Oh, Sela, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. So, hello engineers, welcome to the free webinar on design of Waffle and the Slabs with Protastructure 2025, which is proudly delivered by Nziza Global. This session, we will guide you through practical and advanced techniques for designing Waffle and rib slabs using Protastructure. So I hope everyone gonna enjoy this session, and let me take this time to welcome Engineer Shaite Gorki to deliver and start with our webinar today. Engineer Gorki, are you ready to start?
Yes, I am. Am I audible?
Okay. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay. So thank you everyone for joining this webinar. We are going to see together how we can design rib slab and waffle slab as well using Protastructure. Before we go on, my name is Engineer Charite Gorki. I'm a civil engineer and I'm also a Protastructure instructor. I work here at Nziza, and it's a privilege for me to be with you all in this free webinar. So I'm going to share my screen, and please let me know once the screen is shared. Is my screen now visible? Can you please confirm?
Yes, it's visible. But
okay, good.
not working.
Sorry, there is an issue?
It is a static one. It is in a static mode.
Yes, yeah. But you are able to see the software interface?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good, fantastic. So once we launched this free webinar, we were supposed to use the 2025 version because it was the latest version at that time. But to have a good news that now the 2026 version is out. So this webinar will be conducted using the latest version, which is 2026. If you take a look here, the top, it is the latest version, okay? So from the information I got from the form we filled when we were registering to the webinar, I saw that most of you are familiar with Protastructure and just few of you are just beginners to the software. So during this webinar, I will try to demonstrate some of the features of the software, but our main focus will remain on the design of ribbed and waffle slab. So without taking much time, let's start the demonstration. So this is the starting page of the software. You already know the starting page. What I will do, I will create a new project. Can create a new project or open an existing one. Give it a name. Let's say training webinar, for instance. And then here you have to choose the standard that you want to use. Let's use the British standard. Okay. Then click on OK. So the software will load a bit and try to open a new project. Good. So this is our new project created. Okay. In Protastructures, you know, we have a very user-friendly interface here at the top. You can go to the building setout for certain settings. You can go to the modeling to create different building elements like columns, beams, and whatever. And if you check well, in this latest version, we have a new introduced tools, the staircase. Okay, as you know, in the previous version, we were used to use the plane definition to create those kind of lamps. But here in the new version, we have introduced the staircase tool, which is very, very good. When it comes to steel, we have also introduced the base plate tools here. Now you can create the base plate in Protastructure without going to Protasteel. All these are new features of the new version. So let me start by creating some grids. Okay, as you know, before doing any drawings, starting drawings, I mean modeling, you have to create grids. Okay. What I'm doing, I'm filling spacing between grids. So we have two directions. I have direction 1, which is X, direction 2, which is always Y-axis. Okay, so these are just spacing between grids that I'm just filling here on direction 1 and on direction 2 as well. Okay, if I click on OK, automatically I will have a grid system. Okay, this is the quickest way instead of using the manual way of drawing grids one by one. Okay, so let's try to create some columns. I will use the column command. If you click on column, we have a property where you have to feed all the information of the columns. You have to check the section of the column, of course, and after this, you have to start placing columns. Okay, so just click on the intersection. The column will be created. Okay, so to facilitate the ease of work, if I just drag and drop, all column will be placed. Okay, so if I click, and drag, column will be filled. Okay, so this is the easiest way of placing column instead of placing one by one. So you see, just in simple, in a few seconds, I have modeled the columns. You can play with the eccentricity if you want. You can play with changing the bottom side if you want to create a slant column. You can change the angle and so on. So let's try to put also beams. I will go to the beam command. I will click on beam. Just fill the section of your beams, okay, as you wish. Okay. Put the width, put the height. If you want to use the eccentricity, you can do. Okay, you see you have eccentricity as well. You can create a curved beam in Protastructure and so on. So most of you, I saw you are already familiar with this, so I will not spend much time here. Okay. Again, to place a beam, just click the starting one and the end point, then the beam will be created. Okay, you can continue placing your beams like this, or you can just click the starting point, click the last point here, and the software will automatically know that we have some columns in the middle, and then to create different spans of the beam to create a continuous beam. Okay, like we did on the column also, you can just use a drag and drop like this, and now all your beams will be created as simple as that. Okay, you can just drag and drop like this, and the beams will be created. Okay. So very simple, very quick to model in Protastructure. So far, we can view what we have done in a 3D view. So if I go to the view here, I can now move to the 3D physical model to see what I have modeled so far. So you can see our first story have been modeled with columns and beams just in few minutes. Okay. So there are still options to do some changes on what you have modeled. For instance, if I want to put like a slant beam, we can always open the property, go to the 3D view here, and change the this delta Z. Click on update. You see how I have created like a slant beam, if I can say. Okay, you already know these all these features, so I will not spend much on this. Coming back to our floor plan. Okay, if you want, for instance, to create a slant column, for instance, let me offset this axis, let's say here. Let me open the 3D view for you to see the effect. For instance, if I'm working on this column, I can change the bottom side here. I click on update. Now I will have a slant column like this. Okay, so that's how Protastructure is very easy to use when it comes to modeling. So let's try to create the slabs. Okay, that's where we are much focusing. Let's start with the rib slab. Okay, I'm going to create rib slab on this story. So for you to view it very well, I will go back to the plan view. Okay, so I will go back to the modeling tab. Remember, I want to model the rib slab. Let me tile my view so that you can see what I'm doing both even in a 3D view like this. Okay. So you are already familiar with the solid slab. If you want to create a solid slab, it's a matter of clicking on the command. You have first of all to create the load combinations. Okay. Then you have this pop-up. Okay. So if I close it and click again on the slab command, you can fill in the size of the slab and whatever, and just by clicking, you will have a normal solid slab. Okay, this is a solid slab that we are used to. But we are not much concerned with this solid slab, so I will delete it. It was just a kind of recalling you how things are done. Today, we are much interested with the rib slab as well as the waffle slab. So as you know, the rib slab are located here under the modeling tab, all the way to the reinforced concrete members here. We have the rib slab. Okay. So I'm going to select the rib slab. As usual, you will have this dialog box. Okay. For the rib slab. So as you know, rib slab are composed of parallel small beams or ribs, that what we call ribs. Okay. So for instance, if you create a rib slab here, it will be composed with small parallel beams or ribs, and we'll have a topping of small slab at the top. So let's see how you can do that. After activating the rib slab here, you see under the type here, we have 3 different types. Okay, so we have the standard one. This standard one will be used to create a rib slab, like we are going to do in a few minutes. Then the prefabricated slab, when you are dealing with prefabricated slab, okay, we are not covering this for this webinar. And we'll be using grid edge when you want to model the waffle slab, okay? So you already know the difference between the rib slab and the waffle slab. So the rib slab have those parallel beams, but the waffle slab, which is named as grid edge in Protastructure, have both cross beams. So we have beams in both direction, in X and Y directions, while the standard one, which is rib slab, we have only beams in one direction. Okay, so let's start with the first one, the standard one, the ribbed slab. So it's a matter now here to feed the information. So this BW, the first one where we have 100, it is the width of the rib, or those small beams, if I can say. Then we have H, which is the height of the beam. Okay. This one. We have H slab. So this H slab, it is the height of the top surfacing slab on the beams, okay? So we have 70. Then we have the S block. This is the spacing between the hollow. For now, we have 400. So I will leave these default settings. I will create the slab first. Then it will be much easier for you to identify all these kind of parameters that I was saying here. So before we go on and click here to create the rib slab, you remember, even when we are using the solid slab, we have this kind of beam insertions. The slab insertions. You can choose the axis region, the beam region, pick axis, pick point, or pick close slab edge. Okay. So you can use any of this. For my case, I'm going to go on with the beam region. It's okay. If I click here once, now take a look. Let me expand this. Okay. So now I have a rib slab. Okay. A rib slab, it means we have different ribs here, or beams, these small beams. Okay. Which have the size. You remember the size that we filled in. The BW was 100 here. The H, the height or the depth, was 320. And the top, the surfacing concrete for covering all the beams here, will have around 70 millimeter. So the 400 that we filled in here, it is the spacing between these beams, okay? The spacing. So for instance, if I increase, let's put 600 and click on update, you see now how this distance have increased. So if I go back and put 400, for instance, update, you see how they have been reduced. So that's how you can place a rib slab. However, remember, between these small beams, most of the time we have those hollow blocks that are filled in between here on the construction site. You already know how these are constructed. So in Protastructure, we have this option, S block. We have this tick here. So if you uncheck this, you will be having hollows in between. But if you check this one, you will have blocks, okay? Blocks which are filling this kind of spacing here. Okay, so I can see in the chat box we are having some questions. So we try to answer all of these at the end of the webinar. Okay, so let me first go on with the presentation, right? So this is how you can create a ribbed slab. However, if you go all the way to the next tab here, the first one was the general tab. We have covered all these settings here. We have the insertion tab here. Okay, so under the insertion tab, we have the rib angle. So for instance, this was in X direction. If you wanted your rib beam to be vertical in Y direction, you can come here under rib angle and change the angle, let's say 90, click on update. Now you will have vertical beams like so, okay? So in a scenario you want to rotate your beams, you can use this ribbed angle as well. Let me bring it back to 0, update, okay? So the next one, we have the loads, okay? So you can go on and fill in the loads for the slab here. As you already know, in Protastructure, self-weight are automatically calculated. So you can see we have 3 point something here for the lead slab, okay? So if I show you something, if I come back here, you remember, please remember this value here, it was 3 point something here. If I come back to general and untick this, okay, and go back to load, now you see I have 2 point something. So the self-weight have been reduced because now I'm using the hollow blocks. But if I'm using the filled one, the solid blocks, now the load here will be automatically updated. So this is the benefit of using Protastructure. Everything is automated. And you can ask yourself, where does the weight or the unit weight of these blocks coming from? So if I go to the settings here, all the way to the slab, let me check. Okay, under design, you see the ribbed slab feed block. We have the unit weight here. So this is the unit weight that the software is using. So depending on the blocks you are using, it's a matter of just changing this unit weight here, depending on what will be used on the construction site. And the software will automatically calculate this self-weight automatically for you. As simple as that. So in addition to the self-weight, you can add the additional dead load here. You can add the imposed load, snow load, and or other loads that you may wish. Okay. Then I will close this. So that's how, in simply, you can model your ribbed slab. So if you want to put the ribbed slab in all the remaining panels, you have two options. You can just select the property of this first modeled slab, and you can continue placing ribs one by one. Okay, but remember, in Protastructure, we always have an easiest way of doing things. So instead of clicking on each and every panel, what I can do, I can make sure that I have all the settings that as I wish here. And if you go to modeling, and under reinforced concrete members, we have insert slab automatically. For those who have taken the training of level 1 with Nziza, you already know these tools. Okay, so just by clicking on this, all the panels will be filled with your ribbed slab. If I go to the 3D view, now I have something like this. Okay. Good, so that was it about the ribbed slab. Let's go on and try to model also the waffle slab for you to see. I'm going to create another flow, another story. So we'll be having the waffle slab on the top story. So you already know how to create or insert a story. You have a couple of ways. It's up to you to use the one which is easier for you. You can go under the structure tree. If you click on story, right click, you have insert story. You already know this. If you go to the building set out here, under the story operations, you also have an insert story. So it's up to you. I'm going to, let's say, 3. Now I will have 3 different story. Okay. You can view it here. This story 3, this story 2, and now I have story 1. So I'm going to move on my plan view. Or let me do it in a 3D view here so that you can see it. What I'm going to do, okay, instead of going to the story 2 and start creating everything from scratch, I'm going to copy paste the members from story 1 to story 2. Okay. So how will I do that? You already know the command. Just I will use the generate story. Okay. I will use generate story. I want to copy from story 1 all the way to story 2. Okay, so which element do you want to copy? I want to copy only columns and beams. Okay, because I don't want to copy the slab, because we want to create the waffle slab, not the ribbed slab on this story. So I will click on OK. Just wait a few seconds until you see the process completed. Now you have another story populated as such. Now let me go back to the plan view and make sure I have activated the story 2, where we don't have slab yet. And in this story, we are going to create the waffle slab. So go back to the modeling. Okay. Under the ribbed slab, you remember the command. Then under the type, you remember the standard was the ribbed slab. Now we want to create the waffle slab, which is the grid edge one. Okay, so we shift to grid edge. Okay. Now again, I will have to fill the informations here as we did for the waffle slab. Okay. So after filling these formations, and then I can come here and click once, and now I have the waffle slab. So if you check well, now I have beams in both direction, in X direction and in Y direction. So that's the difference between the waffle slab and the rib slab. So if I go back to rib slab, I had only beams in one direction. Okay, so it means when you are analyzing and designing the rib slab, it is taken as one-way slab. However, if you go all the way to where we modeled the waffle slab, we have beams, these ribs, in both direction, X and Y. So this kind of slab will be analyzed as a two-way slab. Okay. So again, you can open the property and try to play with this kind of parameters. If I increase the spacing and click on update, now you see the spacing have been increased. Okay. So the insertion, it is the same as we did for the slab, the rib slab. The loads also are similar. Okay. Again, you can place one by one by clicking on each and every panel, or you can opt to use the automated way by going through the modeling and activating the insert slab automatically. Then all the panel will be filled with your waffle slab. And if you check well, you will see that Protastructure is kind of intelligent enough to try to align those rib beams, okay, so that may be well aligned. So if I go back to the 3D view, that's what we have done so far. Okay, we have modeled our rib slab, we have modeled our waffle slab. Okay, so now we can go on and see how we can do the analysis and design of this slab. Okay. But for your information, you already know that Protastructure can also design a flat slab. It is another kind of slab. Okay. So actually, Prota can design all those four kind of slab. It can do the solid slab, the waffle slab, rib slab, as well as the flat slab. So let's try to model, even though we will not go under the design of the flat slab, but let's see how we can just model the flat slab as well. So in this scenario, I will go and I will generate the story again. This time I will go to story 3. I will copy the column and beam only, so that we have something like this. Okay. So if I go back to the plan view, by the way, you already know that it is not necessary to always model in plan view. You can also do it in a 3D view here. Okay, so it is also feasible. For instance, if I want to create a slab, for instance, you can just click here. You can see the slab have been modeled just in a 3D view. So if I go to the plan view on story 3, you see the slab is there. Okay, so you can, it's up to you. You can model in 3D view or in plan view. It's up to you. So I'm going to fill all these panel with slabs here. Okay, so if I do like this, these are the normal solid slab on this story because they are supported by beams. However, if I remove those beams, it will automatically become a flat slab. So let's do that. Instead of going and selecting beam one by one and delete one by one, it will be much time consuming, if I can say. You already know the easiest way of using member table. Just if I right click and go to member table, I can locate the beam table. Okay, so in this case, if I do this, all your beams are here. If you want to change something, you can change anything that you want here. It will be applied to all the beams here. Or you can come here in the structure tree, locate the beams, select the first one, go all the way, select the last one. Oh, sorry, you have to click on Shift, select the first one here, go all the way, hold down the Shift key. Okay, then all will be selected. So in this, because I know all the beams have been selected, I can delete them and all the beams will be deleted. So in this scenario, I have flat slab here. Okay. I can even add a kind of cantilever slab here, so to cover this column here if I wish to. If I go back here, I can use type 12. Type 12 are the one used for cantilevers. And if I go to cantilevers, I can infill the length of cantilever, like so. Now I have a cantilever here. I can do all the way to the surrounding of my buildings. And take a look here. Protastructure automatically have joined both cantilevers. Okay. So take a look here. If I select here, automatically they are joined. Okay. So that's how you can model flat slab if you wish. And if I go to 3D view, now I have flat slab. Okay. On the last story. So that's it with the modeling. So let's I see times we are still having minutes. So let's go for the analysis and the design of these kind of slabs. Okay. So as you know, if you are done with the modeling, I always advise you to check if there is some kind of errors in the modeling before you go to the analysis. Okay. So we are done with the modeling. The next one is the loading, of course. So you should have loaded all the slabs. Okay. For instance, if I select one of these, go to property, you remember we saw the loading tab. You have to fill this loading tab here. So after the loading, you have to review the model to make sure that there is no error before you go to the analysis. The first thing to do is to check the building model check. Okay. Make sure everything is selected here so that the software can check all these kind of overlapping and errors here, and click on start. So the software will automatically run and check if there is any modeling error. So for my model, there is no error. You can see the last message, building model check completed, number of errors 0. Okay, so in a scenario where I have an error, it will be listed here. So if there is no modeling error, okay, I'm okay to go. So we have other review tools here. Okay, I advise you to go through all of these before going to the analysis. It is a best way of doing things because as long as you have a modeling error, you automatically be having errors in analysis and design. So it's better to start by resolving this kind of errors before moving forward to the analysis. Okay. So let me jump straight to the analysis tab. Now we are going to do the analysis. Okay. As you know, we have a couple of analysis type in Protastructure. They are here. The building analysis, you have the flow analysis when it comes to foundation or finite element analysis. We also have load decomposition by finite elements. Okay. For the purpose of this webinar, let me move forward with the building analysis. So if you open the building analysis, of course, you have to go through all these settings, do the settings appropriately before running the analysis. Starting by edit material, you can choose the compressive strength of your members. You can choose the grade of your steel reinforcement. If you go to edit, you can check some rebar diameter that you want to use according to the member you will be dealing with. Okay. So this diameter, of course, they must fit your local market. Okay. So if your project is located in the country where you don't have, for instance, the bar diameter of 13, no need of using this 13 because they will not be available on the market. So be wise in choosing your rebar diameter here. Yeah, so if everything is okay here, you can go on with the settings. If there are some settings you want to check before you go to the analysis, this is the right time to do so. It may be the analysis, the analyzing settings, the design settings, and so on. The load combination, you have to set the load combinations. Okay, Protastructure provides the load generator for you to help you generate the load cases. You know, we have vertical load combination, we have horizontal load combinations. Okay, so depending on the analysis that you want to carry on and the load cases, you will set them appropriately. The next one is the model options. Under model options, have to go through all these kind of settings, set the story degree of freedom, soil structure interlection. If you have shear walls, you have to define the mode that we'll be using. Is it a mid-pier or is it a finite element shell? I recommend using this finite element shell. It is more accurate. You have the slab model settings. Okay, so those who have covered our level 1 training, you already know all these kind of settings. Okay, so that's why we are not covering this much. So for those who are new to Prota, you are always welcome to join our trainings. We talk about all these kind of settings so that you know what you are doing when it comes to the analysis. So here it is a very important tab, a slab model, because we are dealing with slab in this webinar. So under the slab model, I'm going to use the finite element mesh. Okay, so because there are different ways of distributing load in Protastructure. It may be the normal yield line method where we are using moment coefficient. You may use the finite element. So for this, I'm going to use the finite element. Okay. If you click activate this, you have this warning. Do you want to include the slab in all stories in the building? Yes, I do. Okay. But you still have option to click here and check the story you want to mesh. For my case, it's all the stories, so I will leave it the way it is. You can decide to use the decomposed slab load or not. Okay. So we have shell element shells here. So if you read this warning here, so 500 millimeter is more appropriate. So the more you increase the size, the more the accuracy diminish. So we have the slab stiffness coefficient, both in plane and in bending. So you can change this coefficient depending on the result you want to achieve. Okay. However, whenever you change this coefficient, please be aware that it will override the one we have here, this material and the section coefficient. Okay. So that's it. We have also other settings related to the analysis here. Okay. So after using all of this, setting all this, now it's time to go to the analysis and run the building analysis. You can start by running the building model check, but you remember you have already done this. So I'm jumping straight to the analysis. Okay, so the software will perform the analysis for you. It's a matter of just waiting. Okay. So the more you have a very big project, complex project, the more it will take time for the analysis. It will also depends on the capacity, of course, of your computer. So if you have a very powerful computer, the analysis will be short. Okay. Now mine have been completed in 37 seconds. Okay, and you can see here the building analysis have a green tick, so it means there is a successful analysis. If you go to the post analysis, you can display the analytical model if you want to view like the bending moment, the shear force, how your structure is behaving. Okay, can activate the diagrams to see the results. You can opt to view only one story, for instance. Okay. Here on the left, you have load combinations, different load combination and load cases. So you can view them one by one as you wish. We are not going through the building analysis models much. Now, let's go for the design. If you check well here on the building analysis, you have a green tick. The analysis have been completed. Now let's move on to the design. Okay, so I will move to the design tab where we're going to design our slabs, starting with the reed slab. Okay. So how to do this? Okay. If you check well, or as you already know, to design the slab, we have to create what we call the slab strip. Okay. Those slab strips take the forces, the result from the analysis, then they will provide the reinforcement in the slabs. Okay, so the slab strip tool are found in the modeling tab. If I go to the modeling tab, you will see slab strip. So activate it. We have slab strips. Under types, we have 3 different slab strips. We have analytical one, the finite element strip, and the manual strip. For this kind of slabs, we'll be using the finite one, okay, finite element strip, because we have analyzed our slabs using the finite element analysis, okay, good. So here you have to specify the analysis result source. Okay, is it from the building analysis or from the finite element flow analysis? You remember we have under the analysis, we have performed the building analysis, so it will be from the building analysis. Then you have to draw your strip. Pay attention here. So the strip, when you are designing the the rib slab, the strip must be parallel to the rib, because we want reinforcement in these small beams. Okay. So what I have to do, I will create a strip here in X direction to be like this. Okay. Now the strip have been created. Okay, so apologies for the interruption. We have some internet issue here, but I'm back. Let me try to share the screen again. So can you confirm if you are able to see the screen?
Yes, now it is okay.
Okay, good. Okay. So where were we? I was saying that when you are dealing with this strip, okay, if you are dealing with this strip, make sure that you place the strip in the direction of the rib beam here, okay? So that's why I have only put these two, this one and this one in X direction, if I can say. So this for the rib slab. If I go to the story 2, where we had the waffle slab, okay? If I'm going to model the strip as well, so I will activate the strip command. Make sure that I'm using the finite element strip here, okay? Then I will create one in X direction here, okay? But because you have also ribs in Y direction, you have to create also strips in Y directions. For instance, I have to change, because I'm changing the direction, I want to create the Y direction. I will click here all the way to here. So if you are putting this kind of strip, always make sure to hold down the control key so that your strip are straight. So you can go on and continue place the strip in all the spans here. Okay, but for me, because of the limited time, I will just end here. So I will only put the two strip here. Okay, so for the story 3, so we will not cover this, but again, if you are dealing with the flat slab, also you can use the finite strip. Okay, but in this scenario, you have to use the fixed band strip, this one. Okay, so we will cover this in the upcoming training that is in 3 weeks ahead, if I do remember well. Okay, so if you want to cover to know how to design this kind of flat slab, don't miss this coming training. Okay, so let's stay on these two type of slab. Okay, the ribbed and waffle slab. So you have created your strip. Okay, so the next step will be to do the rib slab analysis. How is it done? You have to come to the design and go all the way to the rib slab analysis. Okay, so remember the rib slab and the waffle slab are composed by rib beams. So I will select this command. I make sure I want to do it on all stories. Okay, so here we have two options: from all rib line or from the closest rib line of the strip. So remember when we were creating the strip, okay? So it means this strip, depending on where it is passing, it is close to this rib beam, okay? So in this type, if you select these second options, okay? So the design will be done considering to the load captured by this rib beam, okay? So I don't recommend using this because sometimes you may have created the slab strip here nearest to this rib beam, yet the rib beam with high forces, it is this one, okay? So if you select from all rib lines, so the software will analyze all the ribs, so it will capture the result of the most loaded one, okay? So I advise using this, then go to the design. Just wait a bit to prepare the report of the ribbed analysis, rib slab analysis result, okay? you will have the report here. Okay. So for instance, the axis 1 on story 1, remember the first axis that we created. I mean the first strip that we created. Okay, so it was passing in this kind of ribs. These are members. So we have parameters here, and we have also the shear force and the span moment already calculated. Okay, so it is done for all the strip that we have created. So you can save this report as a PDF or as a Microsoft Office, depending on what you want. So I will close this. I will close this again. So now we are done with the analysis of our ribbed slabs. Now let's go on and design. Okay, so when it comes to design, we are designing what? We are designing the rib beams. So that's why under the design, we locate the rib beams. Okay, we want to see how the section, the reinforcement, which are adequate to carry the load that are acting on the slab. So I will go on and activate the rib beam. We will have all the strips that we have created. Okay, so it's almost similar to how we normally do the design of the beam. So I'm going to select one of these and do the interactive design. Okay, so if I open the interactive design, I have this warning: the design is not valid. Do you want to update the rebars? If I click on yes, so the software will automatically update the rebars. If I click on no, so nothing will happen. I will have to design it manually one by one. So let me update this. Okay. So after updating this, now you see reinforcement have been placed depending on the area required here. You see the reinforcement here. You have also the links here with the spacing as well. If I try to go to the detailed drawings to show you how these will be represented. So this is the ribbed beam. Okay. This one is the section of the normal normal beam, the beam which are supporting the ribbed beam. This one. Okay. Now you can see the section of our ribbed beam. You remember the size it had, 100 by 320. That was the height. Okay. But there is an issue here. If you check where these stirrups, the way they are arranged, it is not correct. So if you want to correct this, it's a matter of going to the settings. I will just temporarily accept and close this for now. If you go to the settings, under the slab rebar, okay. No, we are dealing with beams, so I will have to go to beams. The problem is with links, so I will go to the links. Okay, so you see the rib links. So it have this kind of shape, this closed. I will go on. You can use the open one, but for our case, we want to use this one, the standard one. So if you change this and go back where we were, okay. Open the detailed drawing, you see now the issue have been resolved. Okay, so whenever you see something which is not which is wrong with your drawings or your whatever, it may be corrected under the settings. That's why when we are delivering our training, we make sure that you understand all of these kind of settings. Okay, so because they may differ depending on where you are located, depending on what you are used to do on your construction site. So it's up to you as an engineer to customize the software to meet your market requirements. So you can go on and design all the remaining beams one by one, but Protastructure always gives an easier way. We have what we call a batch mode design. If you use this, it will automatically design all the beams here at once. Okay, now they are here. So after the design is successful, the design is successful, you may go on and create reports here. You have different kind of reports. You have summary report, you have a detailed report, and so on. So for instance, let me go with the summary report. If I click on it, it will just load and prepare the report for you. Just wait a bit, and we'll have a summary report of what you have done, okay, for the ribs, the ribbed beam, okay. You see the reinforcement that we had, okay. Everything is passing. You can see the shear. Everything is okay, okay. So again, after having this report, you can save it as a PDF document or save it as a Word document. Then I will close this. I will close this as well. Okay, so that's how you can deal with the design of Waffle slab and rib slab in Protastructure. Okay, so if for your information, if you want to do the detailing of this kind of slabs, it is also available in Prota. So if you go to the drawing and report, you can always send them to Prota Detail, and you will automatically have the details, the detailed drawing of your design. So we will cover all of this in the upcoming training. So if you are interested to know more about this, please don't miss our coming training. So that's it about the demonstration of the design of rib and Waffle slab. So I will hand over to Emmanuel if there is maybe comments, or if we can go straight to the question before we end our webinar. Thank you very much.
Yes, Guruki, thank you very much for that interesting session and that interesting topics you complete delivering. So in our chat box, you have some questions to be answered by your side. So you can go through them and come up with the answers.
Okay, good. Thank you. So let me check. Because I was disconnected from the Zoom, I only see one question. So those who were asked before, I cannot see them anymore. So there is a question here from Mamo. Okay, he's asking, why don't we use finite flow analysis? Is it on the building analysis? Okay, so he has a question on the type of analysis to be used. Okay, let me clarify this. When we are under analysis, we have a couple of different analyses here. Okay, so he was asking why I didn't use the finite element flow analysis to do the analysis of this slab that we modeled. Okay, so Mamo, you always have options. Okay, you can always go with the finite flow analysis. Okay, this one, it will be okay. There is no mistake about doing this. Okay, but what I did, I also used the finite element analysis, but it was not this, because when I was under the building analysis in model under slab, you remember, I checked this one. This is the finite element mesh. So I have meshed all the slabs. So it means I have used the finite element as well. Okay, but it was not this one. Okay, so if you use this one, so what the software will do, it will isolate each and every flow. It will perform the finite flow analysis. Okay, that will be okay. But what I did, I also used the finite element analysis, but by meshing the flow with the building analysis. Okay, it's okay whether you are using this, whether you are using this one, it will be okay. Good. I hope I have answered your question. So there is another question from someone, Lenovo. Okay. What influences the choice of slab type? Okay, so there are different scenarios or characteristics which can lead you to choose which kind of slab, okay, to be used. But when talking about the one that we have covered here, the waffle slab and the rib slab, these kind of slab are used where we have very large span. Okay, these are very useful where we have a very large span. For instance, for the rib slab, this one, the one we created at the story one, it can go to the spanning from 6 meter all the way up. For the waffle slab, it can even span all the way to 12 meters span. So whether you have a very long span, you can opt to use this kind of slabs because this kind of slab, they have a lightweight when it comes to the self weight. Okay. Because they are just small beams and they have hollow blocks. Okay, so they are lighter compared to the solid slab that we are used. So you can choose to use this in a scenario where you have those kind of scenario. However, there are other external features which can lead you to use this or not. You cannot decide to use a waffle slab maybe when we are in a country where you don't have manpowers, you don't have technician who knows how to do such kind of construction. So we have different scenarios which can lead you to opt this, but that's what I can say in brief. Let me see if there is other question. Okay, so Sarah, you asked about the S block dimensions. So it depends on what are available on the market. Okay, so take a look here. If this is a rib beam, okay, this is another rib beam, okay, the S block is in between here, okay. So this will be affected by the S block that we'll be using on the construction site. Okay, Sarah, I know you are from Rwanda and we have different type of those S block from Ruriba. Okay, so depending on the size we'll be using, what you will do, you will come here and change this spacing. So because this spacing is the block diameter, dimension, if I can say, it is the spacing between the beams, the ribbed beams. Okay. Okay, good. Mamo got it. Thank you. Okay, so so Eric, we have another question from Eric. When you go to the 3D view and display visual interrogation to see passing and fading members in Cara mode, the slab seems to be undesigned. Why? So for now, we are not covering the visual interrogation of this, but it will be also included. Okay. Yeah, I know it is not. You cannot visualize this in color form. It will be also added as well. Okay. There is another question. So, Emmanuel, can you help me if there is any other question?
Have you answered this question from Mwambwe? What are the disadvantages of waffle straps?
So when it comes to to the disadvantages, I can say these Waffle slabs are mainly meant to carry those small loads. Okay, so if you have a scenario where you have a slab and you have heavy machines with vibrations and whatever, it is not recommended to use this. This is the downside. So they are mainly used on in the scenario where you have don't have much kind of loads. Okay, so if you have that scenario where you have higher loads, you always go with the solid slab. So that's an advantage of this kind of slab. But when it comes to cost, when it comes to reduction of the weight of the building, they are best. They are the best ones. So I can say if there is you are in a position where you have moderate kind of loading, going with this kind of slab, Waffle rib, it will be better. Or yeah. So
Some clarification about dimensions.
yes.
I was asking about S block center to center dimensions. Is that center to center or it is?
So we can try it. So if you go right click and go to measurement, see the measure, you can always measure from this one to this. You see, it is the edge of the block, if I can say. Are you able to see it?
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay, good. So from the block, the edge of the blocks, we have 600 millimeter, which is the one we filled when we were in the property. So it is not from the center to center.
All right.
Okay, good. So is there any other question?
No questions, please. Those who still have some questions to be answered by our engineer Gorky, please raise your hands to ask or write them in our chats. So is the top slab on the rib designed, Gorky?
Sorry?
The question
is the
from
top slab
Mamo
of the
again.
No, thank you, Mamo, for your interesting questions. So the top slab, it is just the topping cover. It all usually have, for the reed slab, it usually have 50 to 100 millimeter. So let me open the property. So you see the edge of the slab, okay? It is usually between 50 and 100 millimeter for the reed slab. It can go even to 150 for the Waffle slab. So it is not designed. We only put those kind of mesh, the bottom reinforcement only, okay? But the loads are being distributed to the rib slab. So that's why the rib slab are the one to be designed. Yeah.
So I'm still seeing the many questions are still coming, but I think that all question cannot be answered today in this session, and I hope everyone still having the question. We will meet in the upcoming training in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam from August 4th. So I hope every question will be answered there. Or let us complete by those questions. Is there design for maximum reflection in Waffle straps?
Sorry, can you come again?
There's a question saying, is there design from maximum diffraction in Waffle slabs, just like normal RCC slabs?
Not really, because on the normal slabs, we have like a span, and we have a slab which is on the top of the beams. So we have a gap in between, so it may tend to deflect. Okay. However, these Waffle slabs, so there is there is no such kind of deflection because we have this kind of beams. It's a system of just beams. Okay. So we don't have those deflection that that we have in a normal solid slab. Yes.
So engineer, let's take the last question from Lenovo once again. So the two of these slabs includes both blocks and slab covering.
Let me check the question. So the two of these slabs include both blocks and slab covering. I'm not getting well your question, but if you mean that both ribbed slab have this S block and hollow block, yes, you can do either if you are designing the waffle slab, you can opt to go with the hollow blocks or the filled one. The same goes when you are dealing with the ribbed slab, the one we created on story one. Also have this kind of option. Okay, and what I can add, so this is one of the topic which will be covered in the upcoming training. Okay, so here it was like just a demonstration. Okay, we didn't go through, we didn't cover them deeply. So we'll cover the topic deeply in the upcoming training, and we'll have also other advanced topics. We'll be seeing how to design like math foundations, how to design the flat slab. You remember we modeled only the flat slab here, but we didn't cover how to design the flat slab, how to check the patching shear, the columns, everything. So the training will be interesting, and we encourage you to please join. And I know we'll have an interactive session there. So that's what I can do. I can say to conclude. Emmanuel can take it over again.
So thank you, Gorky. Those who are asking if our classes was being recorded, please, I have shared the link directly to our YouTube channel. Please check them from there. And those who still have questions, please meet with us in upcoming training, as Engineer Gorky said. So let us take this opportunity to thank for everyone for attending today's session about design of Waffle and rib slabs, which was delivered by Nziza Global. We hope we found it insightful and valuable for your professional growth. So again, be reminded that the available spots for the upcoming training are limited. So start by today, booking your spots, and places as many are booking their places. So have a good day. Let's meet in our upcoming training in Dar es Salaam once again. So enjoy the evening. Thank you. It was so brief and interesting. Thank you, Mamo, thank you. Let's meet with the engineer there at Dar es Salaam.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, see you.